This is a story about focus, control, and the beautiful art of letting go. One brisk autumn afternoon, Master Ilara, a retired champion archer known for her almost supernatural calm, led her class of eager young apprentices out to the archery range. The wind was whipping across the field, tearing leaves from the trees and making the tall grass dance furiously. At the far end of the field, perhaps 200 yards away, stood a small, round target. It was barely visible through the gusts of dust and leaves. Lara held up a beautiful, polished yew bow in a single arrow. There was a knowing glint in her eye as she addressed the shivering students. "Who among you," she asked softly above the wind, "can strike the center of that target right now?" The students looked at the distance back, then at the howling wind pushing them sideways. They murmured negatively. "It's too far, Master," one said. "The wind is impossible," added another. "The arrow would be blown off course immediately." Lara smiled. She handed the bow and arrow to Brenner, the strongest student in the class. "Prove them right," she said. Brenner stepped up, his muscles tense. He fought the wind to keep his balance. He drew the string back with all his might, his knuckles white, his eyes locked desperately on the tiny, distant target. He held his breath, straining against the gale, and finally released. The arrow flew fast, but a sudden gust caught it mid-flight. It veered wildly to the left, missing the target by at least 50 feet and disappearing into the woods. Brenner hung his head. "It's no use. The wind is the master here." Master Ilara took the bow back. She stepped to the line. She did not seem to fight the wind. Instead, she seemed to sway slightly with it. She rolled her shoulders, took a slow, deep breath, and closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, her gaze wasn't fixed intensely on the target, but seemed softer, wider. She drew the bow smoothly, without strain, as she paused at the apex of the draw for a heartbeat, then opened her fingers. The arrow hissed through the turbulent air. It seemed to snake side to side, buffeted by the gale, yet it maintained a central line. With a solid thwack, it embedded itself dead center in the bullseye. The students gasped. It seemed like magic. Lara turned to face them, the wind whipping her gray hair around her serene face. "Guess target," she began, pointing downfield, "represents your biggest goal in life. It's a good thing you desperately want to achieve. Wealth, fame, a perfect family, changing the world." She gestured to the chaotic air around them. "This wind represents circumstance. It is the economy, illnesses, the actions of other people, luck, and timing. It is everything in this world that you cannot control." She looked at Brenner kindly. When you shot, you focused entirely on the goal, and you fought against the circumstance. Look, you were tense, rigid, and desperate. The wind found your rigidity and used it against you." Lara held up the bow. "The archer does not control the target. Lacha does not control the wind. The archer only controls the bow." She tapped her own chest. "Your stance is your character, your foundation. The grip on the bow is your discipline. The draw of the string is your effort. And the release." She paused. "The release is your acceptance." In life, if you obsess over the target, the outcome you will be paralyzed by the winds of circumstance. You will worry so much about missing that you will tense up and surely fail. Instead, you must focus on the shot. Focus on building your character, maintaining your discipline, and giving your best effort every single day. That is all you own. Once the arrow leaves the string, it is no longer yours. You must accept that the wind will take it where it will. If you perfect your shot, you will hit the target more often than not, even in a gale. But even when you miss, you will know you did everything within your power correctly." A quiet student near the back raised her hand. "But Master Ilara, if we must accept the wind, why aim at all?" Lara smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her face. "A wonderful question. You aim because direction gives your effort meaning. You aim because having a goal is what gets you out of bed to practice your stance and your draw. The target gives you a reason to build your bow. Just remember, the joy of archery is not the thwack of the arrow hitting the bullseye. The joy is in the feeling of the perfect release. Life is not about controlling the outcome. Life is about mastering your own actions in the face of uncontrollable winds. Focus on your shot, not the target, and you will find peace regardless of where the arrow lands. If this story resonated with you and offered a new perspective on how you approach your goals, please consider sharing it with others who might need to hear it. Thank you for watching.